various and mighty people across the grand and mighty spectrums of time, and indeed the multiverse. I'm Alexander Gordon Johansson. As an autistic person, people say to me occasionally, yes, you've got black and white moral thinking, don't you? I don't. I literally don't. We live in an age of black and white moral thinking, which I think is absurd. And this is something that kind of Dan Carlin has talked about, that fucking Cracks has talked about, you know, the Washington Post and all these other places are observing that there is a phenomenon ongoing, but we're talking about it in terms of sides. We're talking about it in terms of the actions being committed. I think that what we're dealing with fundamentally is human psychology. Okay, which is that, yeah, we are transcending the binary, right? You know, when people say, there's a gender binary, there's a sexual binary, we're saying, no, fuck you, spectrums, right? Hence, grand spectrums of time in the multiverse. And yet, we have a moral fucking binary, which is absurd. It's like people saying, yeah, I'm a liberal, I'm for economic liberalism. No, economic liberalism is just shitty fucking capitalism. It is just saying, hey, wouldn't it be great if we just fucked over capitalism so that everybody just got fucked over by fucking everyone, right? Economic liberalism is not good capitalism. It does not ensure competitive marketplaces. Economic liberalism does not create greater social liberalism. It does not create any kind of liberty in the world. All economic liberalism does is let cunts be bigger cunts. Or I suppose arseholes be bigger arseholes, you know. Sorry, that was me doing a random political rant. But, you know, we are so often, like, saying that we're the good guys and they're the bad guys, right? And it's just, we're not thinking through. It's like this whole thing of, you know, is it okay to punch a Nazi? No, it's not okay to punch a Nazi. It's okay to stop them from being a threat, right? Like, this is the thing. Nazis are genuinely the moral case for violence if you stop them perpetrating the threat that they pose, right? Like, you know, just hurting a Nazi doesn't achieve anything. Punching a Nazi is just feeding into a cycle of violence. It's just a bad action because, well, he's bad, right? Like, no, if you're gonna do something, there's got to be a cause and a reason, right? Yes, utilitarian morality says it is okay to kill Nazis, but it says it's okay to fucking kill Nazis because Nazis have a genocidal ideology, and so therefore, if you stop them being a threat by any means necessary, then that achieves something. Right? If you stop a Nazi from giving a lecture on public TV by punching them, yeah, you're doing something. But if you're just saying, oh, this guy's a Nazi, I'm going to punch him in the face, you're doing nothing. Right? Yes, like I'm using Nazis as the example, and obviously, like, so many Nazis have decided that they want to watch my video because, I don't know, they're masochistic sons of bitches, right? But, sorry, masochistic sons of shite-hole dickheads. Got to be equal opportunities in our insults here. But, you know, we forget that violence itself is problematic, right? We become pumped up on this righteous zeal, saying, yeah, we're the victims, they're the bad guys, we can do whatever the fuck we like them. That's not how it works. Not how it works, right? The reason you can punch a fucking Nazi is because he is a follower of an ideology that promotes mass death and suffering. And so if you stop him speaking by speaking before a crowd and spreading his toxic ideology, then you are saving lives. Right? If you're just gonna punch a fucker because he says he's a Nazi, that's not achieving anything. You're just hurting a Nazi because, well, he's a bad guy and I'm a good guy, and that's what we do. No, good guys don't just hurt people who they disagree with, right? If you're gonna hurt someone, there's gotta be a reason for it, right? Like, yeah. I mean, if anything, what I'm saying is you go further. You know, if you see a random Nazi in the street, you stop him from being able to speak. You stop him from being able to raise a weapon to hurt other people, right? I'm not going to say what such actions would be because I'm not advocating violence of this sort against just people on the street. But the point is that, you know, we've forgotten that things are not as black and white as we think they are, right? You know, I don't have a black and white morality. What I have is a carefully thought through morality that is like utilitarian morality, but with like modifiers for like the severity of the actions and what have you, and sort of like, you know, is it okay to, you know, steal a loaf of bread so that someone can stay the fuck alive? Well, yeah. Is it okay to stop someone? Is it okay to kill someone who, if you did not kill them, would then go on to kill hundreds of people, thousands of people? Absolutely. But you gotta have proof. And if you've gone to trial, and if you can bring someone to trial and say, yes, we have now assessed the proof of everything, and they were definitely going to do damage in X, Y, Z, or Z, then congratulations, you've already successfully neutralized them from being a threat, so you don't need to kill them. When people say I have a black and white morality, what they mean is I think logically about morality and I don't think emotively about morality. It is the neurotypicals who think emotively about morality and say, well, I'm hurt, so they deserve to be hurt. And the thing is, the fucked up thing is that this fundamental moral binary of I'm the good guy, you're the bad guy, I can do whatever the fuck I like to you, extends across every fucking political spectrum. Nazis believe that they're the victims. Bloody misogynistic gamersgaters believe that they're the victims. Trolls believe that they're the victims. Right? And I'm not saying that, you know, that women and black people and gay and trans, you know, all these different grand spectrums of demographics aren't victims. I'm saying that you need to think about this shit in terms of more than just us and them. And most people do. Most of the time, we do the chest-thumping rhetoric and share it on Twitter because, yeah, Nazis are bad, right? We can agree Nazis are fucking bad. And because you kind of want to make sure that you don't have anybody in your friendship group who is going to be like, actually... It's like when the police union decided to vote against taking guns away from domestic abusers. It's like, guys, this doesn't look good for you. This really does not look good for you. And because of this moral binary, because of this whole us and them, because of this whole I'm the victim, they're the bad guys, I can do whatever the fuck I like to them thing, we are getting terrorists on each side, on every side. We are getting white men who think that Muslims are the great terror and they're going out to kill the Muslims that they can. We have got people who have been radicalized by this fucked up group who claim to be Islamic. And we are getting people on the left who are mentally unwell, who, you know, like, I mean, this is why I've been, complaining about neoliberalism being, capitalism done stupid, is that they're like, yeah, not only will we fuck over the people, not only will we fuck over the economy, not only will we make it so that our own potential abilities to make money in the future are made worse off and worse off, we will also underfund the police and underfund mental health services so that the desperate people who have legitimate reason to be angry at us and who are likely to be, and who have, fair reason to be mentally unwell, that we're going to make it so that there's very little stopping them from actually doing harm to others. Like, that's what neoliberalism is doing. That's what economic liberalism is doing, is fucking over themselves and allowing the mentally unwell on every bloody part of the spectrum to go ahead and commit terrorist acts. When these people need help and support. Right? And at the same time, I am seeing people on the left and obviously on the right who are saying, no, what we need is a revolution, what we need is war, what we need is to spread the guns and rise up, comrades, to defeat the enemy. And it's just, no, you're fucking wrong, you're stupid, you're gonna get yourselves killed, and But I'm not just talking about this whole civil war, terrorist insurgency thing that is happening, whereby elements of the left and the right are radicalizing themselves through this moral binary. I'm also talking about the sort of the center, where people on the left and the right are turning media and fiction into this grand war of like, no, but it is either our thing or their thing, and if it is their thing, then it is evil and it is to be destroyed. Here's the thing, right? while everybody is saying, hey, it's Nazis, we fought a whole war about this. Remember that fucking Churchill said, if the devil said, Churchill said, to the effect of, you can look this up, that I would give a good recommendation, I would give a favourable recommendation to the devil before Parliament if he was willing to join the war. Right? In other words, sometimes you ally with people who are problematic, who are monstrous, because they can help you. Okay? And it's like you had this uproar when people were saying, yeah, look, you know, even George Bush is calling out Donald Trump, saying, no, but he was still a bastard. And it's like, yeah, we know he was a bastard. We know he's a fucking bastard. We know George fucking W. Bush drove us into Iraq, let 9/11 happen, and all of this bullshit happened because of him. We know that. The point is that when an enemy is so dangerous, you are not gonna criticize people for being on your fucking side. Right? The alt-right are dangerous to society. The alt-right are a genocidal faction of white supremacists who will never achieve their goals, but who will, at the absolute most, get a lot of people killed. So yes, we are going to ally with the conservatives and the neoconservatives, and we are going to ally with all these problematic assholes. Because if they are allied against the fucking foul, genocidal, white supremacist enemy, then that's good enough. Right? That doesn't absolve them of their sins. They do not then get to join a pantheon of the beloved. They're still cunts. They're still cockends. But we can acknowledge that they are helping us against a foe. Right? And you don't even have to consider it like a... You don't even have to consider it like a sliding scale of fucking morality. You don't even have to sort of look at it as though, oh, well, are we really saying that George W. Bush is just a, You don't even have to consider it like you're saying, oh, well, are we really saying that George W. Bush is just a 7 on the scale of evilness, but Donald Trump is a 10? Right? Like, it can be that people are equally evil, but you'd rather have the evil people fight against each other than be allied, right? And this kind of thing is the case in sort of media as well, of just like, you can like something, you can like a piece of art, even though the person who created it is a git, right? You can like a song despite the fact that the artist is an arsehole who has committed criminal acts, right? You can think Johnny Depp is an abhorrent piece of shit and like his films. Like, yeah, absolutely, you know, there are legitimate, you know, reasons why you legitimate questions when it comes to, like, do you want to support this man making a living and stuff like that, if you want to do that kind of shit. But like, you can consider someone problematic in some areas and still like their work in other areas. You can consider someone to be bad at doing X, Y, and Z, but good at doing A, B, and C, right? You can consider someone to be, I mean, okay, let's talk examples, okay? Notch. Notch really needs to stop using Twitter. Because Notch is clearly one of these guys who is, I had an anti-feminist stage. I felt the sting of having feminists not like you, and I understand how easy it is to get into a self-reinforcing cycle of martyrdom, going, oh no, the feminists hate me, therefore I will say mean things about the feminists. No, the feminists still hate me, I'll say more things about the feminists. And it gets on and 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 on, and it's like suddenly you're writing great misogynistic screeds and going, well, so what if I want to keep them as pets? Well, so what if I think that women are only worthy of living if they're skinny and young? And it's like at a certain point you need to step the fuck away from the keyboard, calm the fuck down, have some tea, find your calm, and realize what you were saying were fucking stupid because you were angry. And I realized my linguistics kind of screwed up then, because I was just like channeling that ancient sort of frustration of just being like But Notch is one of these people where it's like, as a game designer, as a guy who makes games because it's fun, as a nerd, I appreciate him. But, like, he does have some fucking daft ideas. And he does do some very, very stupid and problematic and hurtful things. And he needs to get the fuck away from Twitter. Just cut yourself off, man. It's okay. Right? You don't have to engage in these parts of the internet. I know. And actually, Anita Sarkeesian is kind of the opposite end of the spectrum in that, like, I'm not necessarily a fan of her work, and, like, I acknowledge that there may be some legitimate grievances people have with her, in terms of, like, the way that she chooses the examples and things she chooses to use in her videos, and, like, the way she might choose to do, she might have done her Kickstarters or whatever. I mean, Lord knows I'm not one to have a go at someone for fucking up a crowdfunding thing, considering that my Patreon is basically just a gigantic piss fire of crap. So appalling, I'm not even sure how that works. But, like, I can acknowledge that there are legitimate problems with the stuff that she produces, and I can still be like, no, I agree with her. I stand with her against the bullshit that goes against her, right? She may think of me as, like, someone that she detests, because if she read my fiction, like, I have no doubt in the world that she would be like, be gone, foul beast! And that's okay, right? Like, I can respect that essentially we're both fighting for a world in which my kind of writing wouldn't be mainstream. And I certainly agree that the kind of writing I do should never be mainstream, right? Like, I think now I've gotten to the point where it's like, I could never write Doctor Who as I mean, I know this is so big and magnanimous of me, admitting that I could never be showrunner of Doctor Who. But, like, considering the kind of shit and tropes that I write, no, I should not be in charge of a major mainstream sci-fi show that's aimed at, like, a family audience, Give me the sort of the 9 p.m. slot that's like, or the 9 p.m. or midnight slot that's like on some esoteric channel. You know, that's where I belong at most. Maybe a straight to DVD film. That's me. That's where I belong. That's fine. Or indeed straight to stream film, whatever. Straight to pirating. I don't know. And you know, like they're the albums by Chameleon Circuit, which are really great albums, which have got some really great artists on them. And then there are also people like Alex Day, and it's like, oh, this is awkward now, right? I mean, there's one of the songs which is really actually kind of sweet when you listen to it, but listening to it knowing that the singer is basically a sexual assaulting douchebag, and that it's a duet with a woman is just like, oh god, no, right? Doesn't stop the fact that there are other songs on that album and the other album that are good, right? Like, he's an arsehole, and his involvement in these productions taint shit, but there's still good stuff amid this production that involved a problematic person. Obviously it's different. It would have been different if it was like, you know, if people had known that Alex Day was problematic before it began, you know. Because there is definitely an element to where, do you want to support a problematic person? And I kind of don't. But if someone is revealed as a problematic person after the fact, that doesn't take away your enjoyment of the things that they created before you knew the truth. Like, Orson Scott Card has come out as a homophobic bastard, but that doesn't stop the fact that Ender's Game is regarded by many as a really great book, right? And equally, you know, Ian M. Banks is a great writer, but there are definitely some moments in his books that are like, huh, right? And admittedly, these are, you know, these are the villains being villainous, so it's like, okay, he's kind of being ambitious with villains being villainous, but still, it's kind of like, huh, right? And you know, it's kind of the case with Stephen Moffat, where like Stephen Moffat is trying so hard, trying so very, very hard, and he's just like, I want a female doctor, please, you know, please, feminists like me. And at the same time, and it's just like, oh, dude, what the hell, dude? just moments where the fiction is just like, you know. And it's the thing is, you don't know how much of that was improvised by the actors, how much of it is down to the directors. Like, there, you know, a script is a script, right? It's words on a page, and it's like, I've seen people, you know, saying about Joss Whedon that, like, and Joss Whedon said this himself about, you know, his Alien script, that, like, the words on the page are a very different thing from the way the actors and the director delivers it, right? And it's like, I mean, actually, this is a point brought up in one of the Doctor Who books, Lucifer Rising, where it's like the exact same scene with the same characters and the same script, but you can have a massively different interpretation of events if the actors play out the scene and it's the same words differently. And so, you know, like, you enter into that ambiguity. Like, maybe maybe if Joss Whedon was directing it and he had the right cast, maybe that Wonder Woman film would be the most feminist thing ever. I'm not sure how, but, you know, I'm willing to believe that there is some, you know, different universe where that script was made, where that script was made, Joss Whedon directed it, and it was, you know, widely regarded as like a true masterpiece of feminism, and like and the seminal piece of Wonder Woman on film, just because there is such a transformative effect based on the directing and the acting, right? It's not just down to the words on the page, and so maybe lines are meant to be delivered in certain ways, or filmed in certain ways, cut in certain ways, you know. I mean, for God's sake, they did experiments on this whereby they literally had two separate still shots of like a man's face and a bowl of soup, and they would just slowly zoom in on the man's face and just slowly zoom in on the bowl of soup, and it's like, if you cut them together in a certain way, then it's like the man is looking imploringly with lust and love towards this bowl of soup, and it's like two different shots, totally different context. Like, there's nothing, there's no script, there's no acting, they're literally just still shots. It's all down to the direction and the editing. And so I can absolutely, you know, there are ways in which this stuff is informed by all these different factors, and where it can be written in all these different ways. And apart from anything else, right, yeah, I'm willing, I find it quite plausible that Joss Whedon is actually quite a misogynist, right? Like, that if he wasn't at the beginning, that, you know, he is now, just because that's what happens when life beats the crap out of you, right? I've been an anti-feminist. I know how easy it is to go from, oh, women are equal, to, well, these women are kind of shitbags, to, oh, so feminism is just kind of fucked up and dominating, isn't it? And, like, I think there are problems with Buffy, because, like, I have so many creepy feelings about the fact that, well, I mean, I feel creeped out by the fact that, you know, in Buffy season 2, it is revealed that Angel, this hundreds plus year old vampire dude, essentially developed a romantic crush on Buffy when she was a 14-year-old girl, right? I don't care if that's a trope in vampire fiction. I don't care if Stephanie Meyer writes it into her fiction. You're a dude, Joss. You don't get to write that. More than that, you're a fucking adult. You don't get to romanticize children and have that be the good love story. But equally, like, you know, I think it's quite clear in Joss Whedon's work that, you know, there are seeds of problematicness, you know, early on. I mean, you know, down to the fact that it's literally a series about, yeah, we're gonna throw this pretty blonde girl into dangerous situations. Like, yeah, she's a badass in them, but still, right, it's kind of like, you know, the whole homoerotic subtext of Conan, where it's like, yeah, this one lone badass dude with his rippling abs and all these descriptions of, oh yeah, how strong and muscly, and oh yeah, look at those biceps flex. I mean, okay, I'm taking the piss, but like, there is an element that there are seeds of problematicness there, right? You know, however subconscious, however subliminal, there is an element to where he's like, if he is a feminist, he decided, yeah, that sounds like the sort of project I want to work on. And then I can see how a fall from grace could happen, right? Because he goes in there, you know, he's got these problematic seeds in his head. He thinks, oh yeah, women are equal. I'm going to write this show. It's all pseudo-feminist and about how women are kick-ass and men are just losers, because that's basically what Xander is, you know. And it's like the one male character who's not an utter fucking asshole or an utter complete doofus. Giles is like, well, he's the sort of failed daddy figure, you know. He's the failed daddy figure who's kind of shit and needs to be outgrown. But then you can kind of see how, you know, he kind of fucks shit up. He gets some, you know, feminist backlash, and it starts to corrode his mind, and he starts going, yeah, well, these individual women who are feminists were shit too. These women are shit too. These feminists are shit too. Feminism is shit. Women are shit too. You know, he gets stumped by people. He gets, you know, people take a dislike to him. You know, shit wears away at a person until, you know, maybe by the Wonder Woman script, he is a full-on misogynist. I don't think it's as clear-cut as that, but I can see how that happens. But if that is the case, that does not mean you then chuck this guy under a bus, throw away his career, and say, we will never, ever support you. You are now a misogynist. Go and make your misogynistic films, right? No, you fucking redeem the fucker because he was your champion, right? I mean, don't get me wrong. I replace him with someone better who is a woman, right? But you redeem him in terms of, like, you educate the fucker so that he doesn't write such shit again. You don't give him more reason to hate. You acknowledge the work. You acknowledge the work a person has done, and that has helped you, and then you move on, and you try to redeem them, to bring them back to the light. Or if they can't be brought back to the light, you still acknowledge that there is work they have created that is good, right? Things are not black and white. It is not just, oh, well, he's a bad guy, so I can kill him now because he doesn't matter. Because guess what? Your actions to destroy him are bad actions, right? If you are going out of your way to fuck someone over because you don't agree with them, that is you being problematic because you think it is worth it, right? And this is particularly the case when it comes to people touting revolution, when it comes to people saying, yeah, let's make him bankrupt, let's make him lose his job, yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, Joss Whedon is hardly likely to end up on the fucking dole queue. But still, if you are doing this stuff in the hope of making him lose his job, in the hope of fucking over his life, then you are saying that you are willing to do actions that are problematic because you believe there is a worthy goal, right? And here's the thing. If you think that it's okay to do problematic actions in defense of your goals, then surely it is okay to forgive someone who has done problematic actions if it is in advance of your goals, right? And it's like this whole thing with Snape in the bloody Harry Potter books, right? To where, is he, the saint of all characters, or is he a completely horrible character? And it's like, Snape is interesting because he is neither saint nor the devil. Snape is interesting because he is a bastard doing good things for the worst reasons. But the very fact that he will do those good things for the worst reasons is what allows him to be in a position whereby he can help the heroes, right? Voldemort would not have made Snape his fucking right-hand man if Snape was a good guy, right? If Snape did what he did because he loved Lily, Voldemort would have gone, "Oh, what the fuck are you doing, you fucking weirdo?" But because Snape did what he did, because he essentially had an unhealthy crush that was unresolved, that isn't dangerous to Voldemort. That is something Voldemort is willing to tolerate. This guy is fucked up. I like fucked up people. We are a group of fucked up people. Now onwards to secure my eternal reign. Right. Snape needs to be an asshole Voldemort can trust. He needs to be a genocidal fuckwit who works for the forces of good for incredibly stupid reasons. Right? That's what makes him interesting. That's what allows him to do these things, and it's like fucking Hans Asperger in the fucking German army, sentencing children to death. And at the same time, he's trying to save the Asperger's people within the Empire. Right? He's trying to do what he can, right? Like, there are horrible, horrible fucking monsters who do terrible goddamn things, but are in a position to help because of those horrible things that they do. And it's not about, oh, well, these guys are justified. It's not about, oh, well, these guys are pure and good then, right? The good actions don't scrub away the bad actions, right? There is no good that will redeem the bad. That's not the point. The point is that you want someone who is able to help. And it's like, I don't like the Republican Party of America, right? I think they are a load of fucking assholes. If they got rid of Trump, that would be so fucking good. I do not like Theresa May. If they got rid of Theresa May, that would be good. Right? It's not about a black and white morality. It's not about us and them. It is not about, well, they're the bad guys, so I can do whatever the fuck I like to them. Right? Grey exists. Moral greyness exists People can be problematic and produce great art. People can be shitty artists and good people. People can be shitty people and shitty artists and still help your cause. Things are complicated. Things are not straight up black and white. And yet the irony is, we live in a world where we are very much living in a black and white morality. And where we have basically ended up deciding that, yeah, it is as simple as black and white opposing. And it's a whole lot more complex than that, you know. Saudi Arabia, massive fucking cunts. Massive fucking douchebags. You know, they whip rape victims to death. They execute atheists. They kill gay people. And, you know, I'm a fucking bisexual atheist. I would not do well in fucking Saudi Arabia. But equally, all these alt-right Nazis who have been saying, "Ah, yes, come brother, come join us because you're white." No, you fucking motherfuckers. You would turn on me the instant that you fucking got power because, yeah, I'm a fucking bisexual. You don't fucking like that because you're scared of that shit. I mean, there are obviously many other reasons why I would never join the fucking alt-right, not least of which that, you know, they fucking stalked me and harassed me and done all kinds of horrible shit, and it's like, you know, that kind of behaviour does not endear me to join you. That kind of behaviour endears me to want to brutally hurt and savagely attack you. That kind of behaviour is like, yeah, if you come onto my fucking doorstep, you're lucky if I just take your photo and get you fucking arrested. Right? There are people in every demographic who are shitheads. There are people on every political spectrum who are shitheads. It's not about your side. It is about morality, the greater good. And it is about appreciating how something can help you even when it has elements you find problematic. It is about cherishing what you love in the world and trying to move to a world where the things you don't like don't matter so much. And the thing is, right, we talk a lot about how, you know, the Second World War was not solved with peace talks. It was solved with guns. No, that's not true, right? The Second World War was solved with guns so we could get the dickheads out of the way, and then we sat down and talked. Right? Like, the point of war is to get to a point where the other side will stop being such dicks and actually will sit down and talk. There is no point going to war if you aren't prepared to sit down and talk. Right? Because that's the point and purpose of it. The point and purpose of war is to achieve a political objective. And the political objective is, at the end of the day, unless you are advocating genocide, about a peaceful resolution in the end. Right? Yeah, you might have to defeat their fucking armies. You might have to get rid of their fucking leaders who are being obstinate assholes. But at the end of the day, unless you are literally genocidal Nazis, you want to make peace with the people. I mean, considering that we did kind of actually ally with, fucking fascists in the form of the Stalinist Russia, Stalin's Russia, the great devil that Churchill said he'd speak for. A lot of horrible things were done to Germans, but we didn't actually go into Germany saying we are going to exterminate everyone, right? And we did basically, once the war was over, say, you know what, you've been through a lot, we're going to wipe out your debts because we want you to be a player on the stage and just don't be fuckwits again. And I think people forget this. We're so busy being gung-ho about, yeah, there was a war about this and we won, that we forget that we made peace with the German people in the end. Right? Yeah, there were trials, people were executed. People were killed, there was war. But at the end of the day, we made peace with the fucking people. And things are kind of scary now in that, because of this moral black and whiteness, we are heading into, there is a great danger that we could be heading into kind of civil war, at least in America. And that this would quite probably be in the form of sort of terrorist insurgencies from the left and the right. And so because of this, I just feel like it's important to say no. Let's calm the fuck down and realize that at the end of the day, what this is about is sitting down and fucking talking. Right? I am all for the fucking, rhetoric and tub thumping and yeah, we're good guys, right? But at a certain point, you've got to sit down and talk with the people and agree a peace. Because if you aren't prepared to do that, you are advocating genocide and you are the Nazis. So yeah, we're gonna sit down and we're gonna fucking talk to people. And we're gonna agree a peace. It may take a war first, but I hope the fuck it doesn't. So let's remember that at the end of the day, all we want is peace. At the end of the day, all we want is to live in a world where people are fine to live their lives without being fucked over by other people. Right? I mean, there are white supremacist douchebags who are like, yeah, we need to take over the world. But guess what? They ain't gonna succeed. Right? The reason why we have, freedom of speech and stuff is because one lone nutter saying, oh yeah, I hate all these other people, is fine. When the vast majority of the world is like, nah mate, you're just stupid, but sit down over there, have a pint, we'll get you some food, chill the fuck out, right? And we live in a fucking big world. We can actually have white supremacists and, people fighting for, black equality just living and being happy in the same world. Like, you can think whatever fucked up shit you want to think, whatever fucked up shit you want to write. Just don't try to fucking change the fucking world to make it happen, right? You know, maybe I kind of am the only person who can say this because I have this unique experience of, you know, having, you know, spent time as an anti-feminist and being a feminist, and now kind of having had a backlash, you know, charge me as problematic, and having Nazis attack me at the same time. Maybe I'm in a, you know, a fairly unique position of having had so much happen to me and kind of being placed upon so many different sides, while still remaining fundamentally who I am inside, which is, you know, someone who is opposed to violence and to acts of oppression, and who is willing to use regulation to ensure that people are protected from violence and acts of oppression. And, you know, maybe I'm unique in that kind of, I do write an awful lot of fiction that is generally in line with my fetishes, but that if it were ever instituted in real life, I would be like, no, what the fuck are you doing, you fucking evil bastards, right? You know. I don't think there are many white supremacists who are busy writing white supremacist fiction who would then go, hey now, what the fuck you doing, if people decided to institute white supremacist rules and law. But there we go. You know, maybe I am in this kind of unique position as being someone who is feminist allied, despite writing fiction that is, by some definitions at least, fairly misogynistic. But yeah, I think we need to stop seeing things so black and white. Stop saying it as us and them and that we're always the victims, because the Nazis see themselves as the victims as well. Right? And we need to remember that we are fundamentally going to sit down and talk with the other side, even if we have given them a bloody nose first. Because otherwise, we are the Nazis, and we are just advocating genocide. And that's a very odd thing to be advocating when you are an American who is raging against other Americans, when you are a British person raging against other British people, right? I, as a cisgendered white guy who likes women, I'm very definitely in favour of making peace with the cisgendered white guys who like women. I am very definitely in favour of just sitting down and talking with the cisgendered white guys who like women, so that we can find a solution whereby they stop being dicks and everybody can be friends again. And maybe, you know, maybe that's why when the inevitable war happens, I'm just going to be fucked by either side. But if that's the case, I still know whose side I'm fighting on, and spoilers, it's not on the side of the white supremacist misogynists. Yeah, anyway, I'm gonna go do stuff. Goodbye. Thank you for watching my main channel. Please remember to leave a like, favourite and comment. Shout out to the Dislike Club. Subscribe if you like what you saw, and share if you know someone who might be interested in the contents of this video. If you would like to help ensure more videos get made, there are a few options available to you. You can whitelist this channel in your adblock software to ensure what ad revenue you provide has a chance of making its way to me. If you sign up to make a regular monthly donation through my Patreon, then you will get to watch a selection of videos available exclusively to my Patreon supporters over at my Patreon page. One-off donations are payable through PayPal, or if that doesn't suit your sensibilities, you can gift items through Steam or Amazon via my public wish lists. Obviously, I don't expect anything, and the vast majority of my videos will remain free and ad-supported. All that remains is to say Trump should be impeached, the genocidal must be stopped, and institute universal basic income now.